our parents were told, like, go to this corporate job, do the best you can, work hard, climb that ladder. And we're like, no, we're going to do what makes us happy. We're going to be authentic. We're going to live our truths. And it's what keeps me motivated every day.
What's up, everybody? It's your girl, Dolapo. As Black women, we represent 42% of new women-owned businesses. That's 3 times our share of the female population. I want to shed light on this new generation of Black businesswomen and really dive into what it takes to build a brand. From early learnings to exploring how they face deep inequities in access to capital and how they're ensuring their businesses will last for future generations.
Hi, I'm Marshay Clarke. I'm the CEO and founder of Buzzoms, and check out my episode.
This is Hustle and Glow.
Can we take a moment of silence for all the clothes that we had to just simply throw away because they would not fit these godforsaken boobs? I just wanted to walk and just be free like all them itty bitty committees. But thankfully, Marshay has done God's work in making outfits for larger chested women to wear with no bra. We have Columbia School business grad and CEO and founder of Buzzoms, Marshay. First off, can I just hold your hand? As just another fellow large-breasted woman, I am just so happy to be having you here. Like, honey, and especially with this new fashion trend of like no bra, it's like, hello, some of us need to have a lot more to carry. Gravity is really just not with us right now. First off, please just introduce yourself. Tell us who you are and where you're from.
So I'm Marshay Clarke. I am the CEO and founder of Buzzoms. I'm from Manassas, Virginia. So it's a small little town outside of DC, about 45 minutes away from DC. I went to school at the University of Virginia. So I've been a New Yorker for 6 years. I started my journey on Wall Street here, like many people do. I said, nope, that's enough for me. I jumped into tech, and then I went to business school at Columbia Business School before I started Buzzoms.
Can you just explain, first off, what you took from each of those industries and how you apply it to your business now?
Well, I didn't grow out of the womb thinking I was going to be an entrepreneur, just to start there, right? I thought I was going to be this big person on Wall Street, you know, taking over the world through finance, making all this money, like Black woman. That's what I wanted to do. And then I started my first job at an investment bank, and a job that I thought I was going to love, I did not love. Okay. And I faced this conundrum.
You thought you were going to love investment banking.
Okay, I didn't know. All I knew was I saw dollar signs. There was no one in my family that did anything finance. I went to a really like finance-focused school, and that's when I found out, okay, maybe this is what I should do. So not knowing anything about, Wall Street, I went and I didn't love it. And I faced this conundrum, like, do I stay here and make like good money? I'm just coming out of school, I was 21. So I was thinking, okay, maybe this is how work is. I just have to get through it. And then there was one day where I had just had enough. I had completely had enough. My friends were moving on to cool companies like SoulCycle and Google, and I said, okay, let me try tech out. So I left JP Morgan and I went to this small little startup called Betterment, and that's when I really got introduced into tech and thought about having my own business.
We're in a world where finance is like money is money, right? In the financial world, investment banking is all about quick money really fast, and it's just like a high-paced world. And you really see how money moves through the world, right?
Absolutely.
Then you go into tech, and then you see firsthand this entrepreneurial story and how you can create a innovation or a brand, and then see how that populates into the greater population.
Yeah.
So you saw a little bit of that. How did you get from that to Columbia Business School to then Buzzoms?
So here I am at Betterment, and I'm like, okay, what am I going to do next? Like, I'm having a good time, but I still feel like there's something more for me. And when you want to start a business, it's either the idea comes first, or you're like, I know I want to do something entrepreneurial, but I don't know exactly what it is. And I was in like the former. I didn't know what it was I wanted to do, but I knew I wanted to start a business. So what do? You go to business school.
Okay.
So I applied to Columbia. I got in actually on a full scholarship, and I did my thing there. It was like, I want to study entrepreneurship, and I also studied tech just in case I wanted to go back into that world. But I knew that it would give me the platform to like meet other people in entrepreneurship, to talk about investment.
Because a lot of people have the idea first, and then they just try to figure out how to make the business after that. But you had You're like, I knew I want to make a business, I want to have ownership, but you just didn't have the idea.
No idea.
So let's navigate into that. How did you find yourself to where you're at now?
So I think the best business ideas come from things that you experience yourself, things that you're passionate about, and you find your idea by thinking about the problems that you have, and then what could be a solution for these that I could make. So initially I was trying to make like tech companies, and I thought about this real estate company, and then I was like, why am I doing this? Nothing relates to me. But then I think about how I grew up, right? And I think like all Black women specifically, I had a beautiful mom, curvy, like all the men loved her. Like, bring your mom to school today. I'm in elementary school, and still is gorgeous, has full figured, beautiful woman. And I was like, I can't wait until I get that body, those boobs, the butt. I want it, right?
Yeah.
Then I got it. The 8th or 9th grade, that's when it started coming in, and I was like, okay, like I got what I want, but I started getting this bad, like having this bad relationship with my body because I loved my boobs, but I would wear things like button-up tops and they'd be bursting at the seams, or I want to wear a tank top, but you got your bra strap showing because you can't afford not to wear with your bra, like your boobs are going to be on the ground, and I'm like, did anyone think about me at all? And here I am, I'm wearing a size 5, but I got these bigger boobs and there was nothing that fit. So when I went to business school, I kept thinking about things like that because Lord knows I was still going through the journey. 28, I'm still finding clothes that don't work. And that's when I was like, why am I trying to make a real estate company? Like, let me make a clothing company for people like me.
Tell us a little bit about how you've built capital for your brand and how you went about that.
We're bootstrapping, which just means putting your own money into the company. But it is so tough, and that also goes back to why you have to do something you love, because you're using your own capital to fund it. So you're going to have to want to love that thing. But there are different stages to investing, and like for right now, we're bootstrapping, but we're going to do something called a friends and family round, which means I ask my friends and family.
That's as simple as it is. You ask your friends and your family to give you some money.
In exchange for equity in the company. I can't say if it will work for me or not, right? Who has all these friends and family that are about to dump money in you? I'm just trying to figure it out. I mean, the friends and family round for our population is pretty much non-existent. So we go to grants and loans and other things where you have our counterparts that can get $100,000 from their family. So we have that lump that we have to get over. Like, we're putting a couple of $1,000s of our own money into this, but then what? Especially when you're doing a capital intensive business, like where do you get that money from the ground up? And that's why it's so hard for women to start businesses and get over that hump. It's the capital.
How do we go past generational wealth?
Start small.
Okay.
You start small, right? You find ways to test your ideas where you don't have to have too much money. Like when we came out with Buzzoms, our first collection, it was not the hugest collection. I didn't make 20 different pieces. We have 4.
Okay.
And that's done with intentionality, right? Because 1, we know how much capital we have, but 2, we want to start small, listen to our customers, and you don't have to come out with something huge. That also allows you to like maintain and manage your cash flow. Because the number one reason why businesses fail is cash flow. The reason why I kind of shy away from certain VC, venture capital money is because I feel like when I'm asking for funds, it's like a charity case. Like they treat us like I'm not a real business owner. Like I'm doing you a favor by giving you this money. Absolutely not. We're running a really strong business. We're coming up with an absolutely great idea, and we deserve any capital that comes to us.
A lot of people, they want a little take of whatever we got because we got the swag, we got the juice, we got the sauce, we got everything, we got the ideas, but they're not actually valuing us. And that is something that we need to take into consideration and not sell out to places that aren't really selling or buying into us.
Exactly. We have to be able to keep money in our community, and we have to be able to say, okay, such and such is launching this line, like let me support her, let me support them, because that has been my biggest support group, has been from the other Black women and Black men that have actually been seeing what Buzzoms is doing.
You're making a product that is functional, but it's also part of a fashion line.
Yes.
And from what you've told me in terms of your past, it doesn't seem like you've had like fashion designing, expertise or something, and it wasn't like you were in fashion or obsessed with it, or even you might have liked it on the side and stuff. How do you bring something that's like aesthetic with functionality in terms of like, doing a product that sells?
The thing that you learn as an entrepreneur is you have to be comfortable knowing what you don't know.
Okay.
I'm the business person. I knew what the problem is I wanted to solve, and I said, okay, now who can I bring in with me to help me solve these problems. So when I first started Buzzoms, I had an amazing friend who is our creative director. She helped me with the sketches. She helped me figure out what fabric we were going to use, and then I found the manufacturer. I figured out how much things are going to cost. I negotiated, what our minimum order quantities are going to be. I planned our marketing and our launch, but I knew that there was going to have to be someone on the fashion side to give me some credibility.
What would you say is like your biggest learning?
The biggest learning I've had is to dream big.
Wow.
Is to dream big, because you start, when you are an entrepreneur, like you do of course have a big dream, right? But then you get in the everyday of like, okay, now I gotta do the marketing, now I gotta post on Instagram, now I gotta make this shirt. And you're in the weeds of like the next thing that you have to do to keep your business running. But you have to step back and say, okay, where am I going to be? What is the big thing I want to be? What do I want to be in 5 years, in 10 years? And you have to constantly remind yourself of those goals so that you keep going and that you make a big company.
Give us a lowdown. What are you feeling in the culture?
I would say is the creativity of the women around me that I see literally naturally every day, right? I was afraid to put myself out there on like Instagram and do all these videos, and even to like sit here and do an interview like this. I actually have quite a shy personality until you finally put me on the spot. But when you see women who are literally out there doing their thing, they're starting their own businesses, they're literally talking to you, starting their own shows, starting their own podcasts. I have so many friends that are like taking a leap of faith and doing things outside of the box. I think what I love about our generation is like our parents were told like, go to this corporate job, do the best you can, work hard, climb that ladder. And we're like, no, we're gonna do what makes us happy. We're gonna be authentic. We're gonna live our truths. And it's what keeps me motivated every day.
And I'm so excited to see where Buzzoms going. Put 12 orders in for me because these girls, they need somewhere to go. Thank you so much, Marshay, for joining me. I am so happy that you are here, and yeah, I'm so excited.
Thank you for having me.